Welcome into Clippers Countdown as your LA Clippers are back out on the road again and in the Dragon's Lair against the defending champs who look better than ever as the OKC Thunder are 24-2 with a guy that wears number 2 in SGA who's looking to repeat as the league MVP. Yes, the one that got away, Clipper Nation, which stings even more in a season that is getting away from them in a hurry as the Clippers are 6-20 and looking for answers after an 18-point home loss to a depleted Grizzlies team Monday night. Or post-game, Coach Lou spoke about the mental state of the team.
I think when it gets hard, you got to get tougher. And we can be playing good basketball and a couple of things go wrong and then here we go again. Instead of having the mindset that we got to get tougher, we got to get stronger and then do things, even better, And so not get discouraged when you miss a couple of shots, not get discouraged when you turn the basketball over. Just keep running through the tape. And, these last 5, 6, 7 games, we haven't been able to do that.
Can the Clippers start and finish the right way and run through the tape, as Coach Lou said there? Because if you don't play the right way, not quarter to quarter, but possession to possession in this game against this Thunder team, well, instead of running through the tape, you'll get run off the court. And in a game without James Harden, the Clippers are going to have to come together as a team and find a way to rally the way we've seen in past seasons. So, do they still have some of those improbable stay-ready Clippers wins in them? Tip-off from Oklahoma City between the Clippers and Thunder is just about 58 minutes away. Coming up, we'll have La Murray on the show, but up next, it's your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Oklahoma City taking on the Thunder. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your Los Angeles Clippers, and tip-off is just about 57 minutes away here. Coming up, we'll go back in time in Clippers Rewind. Also, La Murray of The Athletic will join the show. But right now, from OKC would be your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez. Carlo, how we doing?
Adam, it is so good to see you. I'm doing good. It's good to hear your voice. I'm excited for this one. The Clippers on the road, Adam. This will be the 13th road game for the Clippers in their last 16 games, if you can believe that, before they finally head home for some extended time. So looking forward to the Clippers being back into a dome. One more hoorah on the road here in OKC.
No doubt. Unfortunately, it hasn't exactly been a safe haven for them. They're 3-8 at home as well after losing 121-103 to the Memphis Grizzlies on Monday night. In a game where we felt like, hey, this might be rock bottom. During a season that has been this difficult for this team, the Memphis Grizzlies were undermanned. They were shorthanded, and they still made short work of the Clippers in the second half of that one. What did you see out there, Carlo?
Just felt like the Clippers, they were able to take the first punch from Memphis, but not the second. They fell down. They were up by 9, and then all of a sudden fell down by 8. The Clippers were able to come from behind, take a lead early in that third quarter, about midway through, but then once things turned wrong for them in the third quarter, they just couldn't turn it back on. And it felt like Memphis controlled momentum and controlled the game the rest of the way. The Clippers did out-rebound the Grizzlies in that game, something they had done the previous 11 times, had come away with a victory against Memphis when they out-rebounded them. But it was tough to see them be unable to stop a guy like Cam Spencer, who, look, he can shoot he's incredible at shooting the basketball. I mean, 13 for 14 his last 2 games from distance, but the Clippers couldn't stay with him, and then unable to get made shots on the other end from their group. The Clippers struggling to shoot the 3 ball. So just didn't feel like the mental stability, and it's something that Ty Lue spoke about after the game. He said, we have to be better about, hey, when things don't go our way, we can't just throw it all away. And it felt like at times that happened for the Clippers.
Yeah, before that, we at least saw some good process. Unfortunately, you need good results right now, too. But this Clippers team, they didn't look to be given great effort throughout the 48 minutes. And look, inconsistency all season long has been an issue, but we had just seen them play well for 3.5 quarters, multiple games over, including against Memphis, where they were tied at 98 in Memphis just about a week and a half ago, just to not be able to score in the final 4 minutes. Ivica Zubac in that ball game, just 6 points. He only got 6 shots up. Coach Lue was asked about that post game, and I think it was accurate. Obviously, you watch the tape. Ivica Zubac was being doubled a ton out there. As the Memphis Grizzlies, they were not respecting the Clippers' outside shooters, and it made life really tough on him.
Yeah, he's been doubled more than any other post player almost in the league when he gets the ball downstairs. And so you wonder, Adam, does the thought process have to change for somebody like Ivica Zubac? Often we see him like to catch the ball, dribble it into his defender's chest, and then go up with the right hook. Maybe he's got to be quicker. Maybe it's a catch, then turn and shoot. And the Clippers can get some sort of offensive efficiency out of him. And now teams are doubling right when the ball comes instead of on the first bounce, as we've seen so much this season. The Clippers have to get Ivica Zubac involved because when he is, they win games at an elite rate. But it's hard this year because now it's no longer a secret. Nobody's coming in, oh, wow, Ivica Zubac is having 28 points tonight. That's a surprise. That's what he did all of last season, and everybody's seen the tape multiple times over. And now the goal for defenses is taking Ivica Zubac out of the game. So how can the Clippers now make their chess move to try to adjust to all these double teams thrown his way? Also love to see those assist numbers start to rise for Big Zoo. If you are getting doubled, that means somebody's open. Can the Clippers create offense off of closeouts?
Clippers in OKC tonight. Carlo Jimenez is on the call. Tip-off is just about 54 minutes away. More from Carlo coming up next here on Clippers Countdown on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and OKC taking on SGA and the Thunder. Tip-off is just about 52 minutes away. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your Los Angeles Clippers. Still to come, we'll have La Murray on. Plus, coming up next, we'll go back in time in Clippers Rewind. But first, back out to Oklahoma City with your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez. Carlo, last time out on Monday night against the Grizzlies and the Clippers 121-103 loss. Kawhi Leonard had 21 points, 9 of 18 shooting, didn't get up a ton of shots in that ball game, but played 37 minutes, and he just got off the minutes restriction. The hope is he gets more acclimated to playing more minutes and is a little bit more energized down the stretch of ball games. They'll need him tonight.
Yeah, the Clippers are going to need Kawhi Leonard to do superhero-like things against this Oklahoma City team, and it starts with him being able to get into a good rhythm early on at him. It feels like sometimes when Kawhi is able to knock down shots in the beginning of the game, that kind of helps him lead into the offense throughout the game. Remember last season, third quarters were big for Kawhi Leonard, one of his highest-scoring quarters in the throughout a game. So can the Clippers find a way to get him the ball, I think, early in the first half and then early in the second half? That should lead to more success down the road. And then the biggest piece, Adam, is can Kawhi make quick decisions? Because it seems like sometimes the Clippers get stuck watching Kawhi Leonard, and that can bog things down offensively. But when he's quick with his decisions, when he's attacking, when he's shooting threes, right as he's catching the basketball, it kind of speeds things up for everybody, and you can create opportunities off of that.
I feel like Chris Dunn was being more decisive out there with his shot, as he had 17 points in 27 minutes and went 3 of 6 from the outside. When they played off of him, he put it up from distance. Also had 5 assists in that ball game. Really played a more complete game offensively. They need a little bit more from everyone right now. Chris Dunn did supply it on Monday.
Yeah, he's been doing it all season. I mean, 48% from the field this season. Last 2 games, shooting 46% from the three-point line. They need somebody like Chris Dunn to be effective offensively, especially with no James Harden today. Maybe Chris Dunn can turn back the clock back to Providence, where he was one of the best scorers in the NCAA, knocking down shots at an elite rate. But the Clippers are going to need a second punch. For Chris Dunn, the big number, and you mentioned, Adam, it's the three-point shooting. And to see that consistently come about, I think is huge. You also, the last 2 contests, he's averaging nearly 6 assists a game. That's double his season average of 3 a game. So if Chris Dunn can be a facilitator for this team, they always need more ball handlers to take the pressure off James Harden. Seems like he's stepping into that role at an elite comfort level for the Clippers.
I thought another guy that had an under-the-radar good performance against Memphis was Jordan Miller in his 22 minutes. 3 of 6, 10 points out there, was attacking, was rebounding. That was a great effort from the young man.
Jordan Miller can find a spot in the rotation with this team, especially with the injuries they've dealt with. You just feel like, can he play defense effectively, and can he slow the game down offensively for himself and not make mistakes? And he did that on the offensive end for the Clippers. He got downhill, he got to the rim, he got to the free throw line. Ty Lue talks about he's elite at getting to the free throw line. The Clippers are a great free throw shooting team. I think for Jordan Miller, and he knows it, this is kind of a make or break a year. You got to show me what you got. And Lawrence Frank has talked about that as well. Jordan Miller loves this organization. It's a reason why he stayed here this offseason. Now being healthy. I mean, Adam, he's only played 5 games. It's hard to believe considering we're at game 27 tonight, but he really has been held out due to injuries. If he can get going and be a reliable piece off the bench, that's huge for a Clipper team that's looking for some sort of scoring punch with that second unit.
Clippers in Oklahoma City taking on the Thunder. Carlo Jimenez is on the call. Tip-off is just about 46 minutes away. And coming up next year on Clippers Countdown, we'll go back in time in Clippers Rewind right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers taking on the Thunder in Oklahoma City. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. It's Clippers Countdown. Tip off just about 43 minutes away. Still to come, La Murray will be here. We'll also get your player to watch. Carlo Jimenez will, of course, return. But first, we're going back in time in Clippers Rewind back to January 30th of 2012 as Liam Neeson's movie The Gray was out in the wilderness. Fighting Wolves, that was in theaters. Rihanna's We Found Love was at the top of the radio charts, the Billboard charts. And back at Staples Center, Lob City was in full effect, and Blake Griffin was claiming yet another victim who dared to challenge him near the rim. This time, it was the Oklahoma City Thunder's Kendrick Perkins.
Ball up top, watched by Westbrook. It's a screen from DeAndre. Goes down to left baseline in front of the Oklahoma City bench. Vinny Del Negro wants a whistle, nothing coming. Paul finds Griffin inside. Oh, my goodness! Has lightning struck twice? Blake Griffin may have just Mozgov Kendrick Perkins. Oh, my goodness.
Brian Seaman on the call there. He did get Mozgov. That was the language back then when Blake Griffin had a huge dunk after what he did to Timothy Mozgov. Caught Kendrick Perkins there. A lot of people catch him now with bad takes, but back then he was getting caught on the court. Blake Griffin, one of the greatest in-game dunkers of all time. He won a dunk contest too. That jump over the Kia, even though it was on the front of the hood, off the pass from Baron Davis, it was still good. It was nice. All-time great Clipper. Appreciate him. Coming up next, as we were just 41 minutes away from tip-off in Oklahoma City, we got your player to watch. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Oklahoma City taking on the Thunder. Tip-off is just about 39 minutes away here on Clippers Countdown. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. Coming up, we got La Murray joining us from The Athletic. But first here.
This is LA Clippers basketball.
Watching this guy play right now is really something.
Players to watch.
You know, I don't see a path for the Clippers to beat Oklahoma City if Ivica Zubac isn't getting more than 6 shots. That was the amount he took on Monday night against the Memphis Grizzlies. They were doubling him a ton. OKC will as well. You got to make them pay for it with kickouts, and that means guys will be wide open for three-pointers, and they have to knock them down. The Clippers have not been good at shooting three-pointers so far this season, and opponents are shooting the highest percentage against them in the league. Something has to change there, though. Ivica Zubac, either with one-on-one coverage against Hartenstein, has to go right at him or Chet Holmgren, or if there is a double or guys are shading over, he has to be a willing passer, make the right reads, and the rest is up to his teammates knocking down those outside shots. But you're just not winning a ball game when Ivica Zubac only takes 6 shots. Remember, he has gotten up in big games this season against Cleveland, against Houston. He's played some of his best basketball. He is due for an eruption going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. Tip-off just about 38 minutes away. Up next here on Clippers Countdown is Ivica Zubac, my player to watch. We'll get to your injury report right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Oklahoma City taking on the Thunder. Tip-off just about 35 minutes away here on Clippers Countdown. Up next, we'll have La Murray on from The Athletic. But first, your injury report for the Clippers in this one. Cam Christie questionable with right foot soreness. Derek Jones Jr. still out. Yannick Conan Niederhauser out with left knee soreness. And, of course, you heard yesterday, James Harden out with that left calf contusion that was limiting him on Monday night against the Memphis Grizzlies. As for the Oklahoma City Thunder, they will be without Isaiah Hartenstein in this ball game. So I misspoke about Ivica Zubac going up against him. Going to be a lot of Chet. The other Jalen Williams will also be on him at times in this ball game, unless he's also out here. Yes, he is. I think this is the Jalen Williams that is not the J-Dub. Okay, Zoo versus Chet. I actually like that matchup for Ivica Zubac in the post. He can use his size against him. Clippers taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Tip-off is just about 33 minutes away. Coming up next, La Murray of The Athletic. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Oklahoma City taking on the Thunder. Tip-off is just about 30 minutes away here on Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your Los Angeles Clippers. Still to come, we'll get to your drive around the league. But first, join the show right now from The Athletic is the man. I am the Law. Law Murray of The Athletic. Law, thanks for doing this once again here on Clippers Countdown.
Hey, thanks for having me, Adam.
Law, if you invited me to a Halloween party, I definitely would have showed up. But what did you make of the reporting by Ramona Shelburne and the latest on CP3 and where some of that reporting may be coming from? And if the Clippers have yet to tell their side of the story, where do you lean with just reading this situation right now as it continues to just bubble up, I guess?
Man, you mentioned Halloween party, and I was like wondering where you're going with that because we in a different holiday season right now, as far as I'm concerned. All I'm going to say about this whole thing, because we hit it hard 2 weeks ago. I mean, we hit it real hard. People noticed that. Oh man, everyone's got a Chris Paul story at The Athletic, so I'm just going to I'm going to defer to that. But I feel like this is people are like got to remember the point. They're losing. And they're losing flagrantly and severely and underachieving at levels that nobody expected them to. And I think that's it. Like, I mean, when you talk about a Halloween party, I can tell you, man, a Friday night in LA, like, I'm damn sure those dudes had a whole bunch of other plans going on. I'm just saying. And we weren't tripping about where the Clippers were at, especially that night, because it's the last time they won a game in their own arena.
Yep.
They were 3-2 coming off a buzzer beater, and vibes were real good. I think there were guys in the locker room joking about the Halloween party that night. Like, it's not like people didn't know, but it's also like no one was going to use this as a reference point of the Clippers being Chris Paul's ex-employee or employer until the disaster bomb that was November. I feel like there's a whole bunch of stuff that gets kind of I don't know how you want to call it, like hindsight's 2020, right? So, if the Clippers had their normal scuttling along of regular seasons, then I'm not sure we were talking about what happened on Halloween. But because the Clippers are failing and because Chris Paul was removed from the situation, yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the second unit beating up on the starters, which that is, again, like I remember my guy Xavier Moon telling me a couple years ago about how they were beating up on the Clippers during that training camp. You know what I mean? Like, and we're not even talking about the second unit at that point. We're talking about the third unit beating starters. So all of these things make for anecdotes in the story where the main idea, the main point can't be lost. And the main point is Chris Paul was signing up to play for a team that was trying to build off of how they finished last year. And how did they finish last year? Winning 18 out of 21 games to get into the playoffs. Right now, they're going into Oklahoma City having lost 18 out of 20.
Law, do you think any of the reporting or the hearsay or the stories are coming from the Clippers side at this point?
Hell yeah. Like, everybody's been talking to whoever's going to listen. That's how these things work. And I don't want to be the type to reveal anything as far as specifics, but Chris has an incredible PR. And if you think that the Clippers have been mum about this, that's not how this works. Like, Lawrence literally got in front of people, in front of media the morning or the afternoon after it happened. From us, it was the morning, but he was in Atlanta. I wasn't, and neither was the rest of LA media, which is a problem that we can talk about some other day. But then Lawrence obviously had his meeting with season ticket holders on, before Monday's game. So when everyone has had a version of a story to tell, everyone has had a chance to remind people about what the Clippers have done in the past and what Chris Paul has done in the past. Like, I don't want to say I'm over it because it's obviously not even over as a story. Chris Paul is, as of today, still a member of the LA Clippers nominally, just physically he's not there and spiritually he ain't there. But I mean, technically he's on the roster, just like PJ Tucker was on the roster this time last year, the story's not over, but for all intents and purposes, I'm so over discussing everything that happened, in Atlanta. It's 2 weeks later. The Clippers are still bad. Chris still needs to find another team. And we're still going to do this thing where everything that happens to the Clippers is going to get blown up even more because they came into this season under the microscope. And everyone's looking for a reason to validate why the Clippers are under that microscope.
Yeah, I saw a story, I think it was yesterday, and it came from a publication I hadn't heard of before. And it just seems like everybody's trying to pile on, as Dallas Hoops Journal had a report saying that the Clippers are rejecting trade offers for James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Ivica Zubac, and believe they can make a run towards the postseason once they get Derrick Jones Jr. back. Could you confirm or substantiate any of that, or are people just making things up right now because they know it's good rage bait?
I don't want to do either, to be honest with you. I don't want to disrespect the outlet that is reporting that, but I'm also not going to participate in it either. To be real, like, it's December, and I think everyone's really excited about trade season opening up, and the trades don't happen in December. Like, they're rare. I think now is the time where teams are just opening up a lot of discussions and trying to figure some things out. But teams don't really want to do anything in the holidays. Like, that's a real thing. You can go back through several years of the NBA. You're not going to get a ton of December trades unless teams are at an acute point where it's like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. We need a backup center, something like that. Like, I think last year Thomas Bryant found his way to Indiana because they needed to address that position. But January is a time where the discussions really pick up, the evaluations really pick up, and Derek's not even healthy yet. Knowing him, he'll beat his timetable, but Derrick Jones Jr. has to get back, and he has to show that he hasn't been rushed back. Derrick has to show that he can be effective in the role that the Clippers are going to need him to be in. I mean, typically it's nice when a guy gets back, but there's minute restrictions, there's role restrictions, all that stuff. Like, when are you going to get full strength Derrick Jones Jr.? I don't know. It's an MCL injury. Guys get back to playing, but playing effectively is another conversation. So I don't think when it comes to the Clippers, there are certain guys who I think are absolute trade candidates. Brook Lopez, John Collins, Bogdan Bogdanovic, players like that. We can understand that James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, that's going to take some executive level decision making. And in James Harden's case, he controls that. And in Kawhi Leonard's case, he's under an active investigation as far as his contract status.
How much do you think that limits teams or has teams being cautious of even thinking about trading for him? Does that matter?
I think it has to matter. You don't know what's going to happen with his deal. And even if there was no aspiration scandal, it's Kawhi Leonard. Like, I've been saying for years that Kawhi Leonard's trade value is very difficult to gauge because you have to have the health considerations. How do you acquire Kawhi Leonard and ensure that you're taking care of Kawhi Leonard at a level where he can play? That's been a big thing in every NBA city he's played in. And those are the things that you have to consider when making midseason trades. I go back to Bogdan Bogdanovic coming here. Why did the Clippers get the second round picks in a deal with Terrence Mann? I mean, Bogey's health status is such where you got to really think about, like, he's playing a lot of basketball and his durability has been a concern over these years. And so everyone loves thinking, blow it up and we're going to get a first round pick and that pick's going to be in the top 10 or something. It's like, what team that is going to be donating a first round pick, you know, giving up a valuable pick for Kawhi like that? I think that's really not how this was going to go. And, you know, then you think about the good teams. It's like, what good team is trying to disrupt their whatever they got going on to acquire Kawhi? And you don't have any real familiarity with Kawhi's body, let alone like what else is going on with Kawhi. So I just feel like the blow it up talk, besides the fact that the Clippers don't have their first round pick, it has to make sense. You have to make sense. The toughest thing for the Clippers is they're bad and they don't have their pick, and that those dudes are from here, and that you're talking about them having to make the decision of whether they are ready to uproot themselves in the middle of this kind of a season to go somewhere else in the NBA in the United States of America. Maybe Toronto. Doubt Toronto.
So do you think, it's not necessarily that they aren't entertaining trades, it's that whatever they're being offered, if they're being offered anything, isn't exactly that appealing?
It can't be. Like, I don't know what team is really looking at, especially Kawhi. Like James, if you get James Harden on your team, you get the system. We know how that is. And there's some teams where that makes more sense than others, right? Like someone brought up Minnesota, and it's like if Minnesota wanted to do that, cool. The issue with Minnesota is, who are you giving up? What are you giving up? You traded first-round picks for Rob Dillingham. Like, what assets, what players do you think is going to make that kind of a deal work? And then James still has to agree to go to Minnesota. So, but I can see that working from a basketball standpoint. I think him and Anthony Edwards would work really well together. But, there's not a lot of situations like that. Like, a lot of these teams are entrenched. You know how they're going to play. Look at Houston. Ime Udoka is coaching the Houston Rockets. That means that you're not getting James Harden to go to Houston. I think you can all think about the vibes and whatnot because he used to play there. Well, Ime used to coach James. I don't think Ime's trying to coach James again. And so it has to make sense. It can't just be fans of one team saying this would work for us. Let's see what we can give them. And then you get back everything that works for you. It's a business, it's a marketplace, and you got to give something up to get something back. And I just don't think it makes sense for a lot of these teams to take on these players. And look at the Clippers record. Like, the value of both of those guys just it's not reflected on the floor for the Clippers like it did even last year.
You said James would have to sign off on it. Is that because of a no trade contract, or because they would consult him and see if he wants to go there?
It's kind of both. Like, James has, because of the contract that he signed in free agency, James can basically agree or disagree to a trade. And so James controls all that. Now, I don't get the feeling that James is interested in making that kind of decision. Like, this isn't Brooklyn where things were breaking down. This isn't Houston where he had a clear idea of where he could go. This isn't even Philadelphia, like, where there was a complete breakdown of the relationship between who was running the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's the other part of it. It's like, I feel like these guys are kind of resigned to where they are, that they're going to have to figure something out, that the best case scenario is going to be find a way to luck yourself into the play-in tournament. The issue with the Clippers is they're so bad that I don't know how many wins they're realistically going to have by mid-January, late January. And we'll see if any decisions or any minds get changed between now and, say, the beginning of February.
So would you say it's unrealistic to look for trades before the end of this season? Or the end of this year, I should say?
I don't think it's unrealistic. I just think that you have to be realistic about what those trades look like and who they involve.
Okay. Law Murray of The Athletic is our guest. I believe you put this out on Twitter, Law, that maybe the reason Kobe Brown was playing so many minutes the other night and missing those 3-point shots was because he's one of those guys that obviously isn't an option. They didn't pick that up as option for next season, and that could be somebody that could be moved.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this before. Obviously the Clippers signaled that Kobe Brown's not part of the team's future when they declined his fourth-year option. Him playing Monday was a byproduct of Brook Lopez not really being an option against what the Grizzlies had with Zach Edey being out, but also the fact that Nico Batum was missing his first game of the season due to illness. So you had a spot for a backup big. The other guys off the bench were Bogdan Bogdanovic, Jordan Miller, and Kobe Sanders. So, whether it's the 4 or the 5, whatever, Kobe Brown got a shot. And the thing with Kobe is it's always been about the shot. Like, he shot incredibly well his last year at Missouri.
Right.
That shot got him drafted in addition to his other capabilities. But he was the 30th pick as a fifth-year senior. Like, it's not like, you're drafting a lottery pick guy here. Again, when it comes to the Clippers and their draft picks, I think everyone looks at, like this random second-round pick hit. Why can't that ever happen for the Clippers? It's like, well, you're not exactly working from a position of strength here. You're just hoping for diamond and rust, and yeah, the Clippers haven't had many of them. Kobe's shot has pretty much killed his value, and so I really also feel like Kobe Brown, the best version of him, is a guy who has the ball in his hands and is playing in an offense where the ball moves a lot more 5 out, a lot more just putting him in position to make more decisions. The Clippers don't really have that. Like, they put him in the corner, and as a catch and shoot guy, he's just not. He's a sub 30% 3-point shooter for his career. It's just not a strength of his game at the NBA level, and so you play him because you're not playing Brook, and you're not going to play Giannis because Giannis is going to get his chance when this season has progressed and the personnel in his team has changed to where it makes sense to throw Giannis out there. Giannis was always a project. That's why they drafted him where they drafted him. They had a good idea Brook Lopez was going to be on the damn team. They're trying to make it so that Giannis can progress at his pace and not have to worry about doing things at the NBA level. If the Clippers do it right, which, again, they don't have a track record of doing it right from the bigs, but if they do it right, then you got a guy with a higher ceiling than some of the other guys who went after Giannis because he's got the tools. Like, he's just way more athletic than a Ryan Kalkbrenner or a Maxime Reynaud, right? So when it comes to Kobe Brown, it's like, yeah, you play certain guys because you're going to look to trade them. They traded Pete Cavangeli, even though that trade was more of a salary dump than anything else, like a top 55 protected pick, which never conveys, right? Like, you're trying to say, hey, like, this guy, if he plays well, if he plays the kind of way where you can see he doesn't fit us great, but maybe he fits your team great, maybe you find a taker. Because the worst case scenario is Kobe gets salary dumped and that's that. We've seen that happen with bigs before with the LA Clippers. The least you can do is see if his effort and intensity turns into something that a team would want in a couple of months.
Lastly, Law, do the Oklahoma City Thunder have a weakness? I know they got some guys out in this game, but I know they're heavily favored. What's the path to victory for this Clippers team? What would it take?
You got to shoot the ball well, and you have to hope that the Thunder are not having the best shooting night. I think the Thunder are a really good shooting team. They're a high floor shooting team. They don't have a lot of guys who kick you with their 3-point shooting in particular. But, I mean, when it comes to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that dude is shooting well over 50 from the field, well over 40 from 3, damn near 90 from the free throw line. Like, his skill level has gotten so good. Like, that dude doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. But the way you got to play them, and they've only lost 2 games, and both games require comebacks that the Clippers have yet to execute this entire season, is you have to take care of the basketball somehow. You need to make the threes that the Thunder will give you. If there's one weakness offensively, Oklahoma City will give you threes because they don't want you in the paint. And then if you make your shots and you can set up your half-court defense and you get an off night from enough Oklahoma City shooters, then you can have a chance. But this year's Oklahoma City team, that's pretty much it. Again, they've lost 2 games. Both of those games, they were up by more than 15 points, and both of those games literally came down to the last possession.
He is Law Murray of The Athletic. Follow him at Law Murray, the NU, and subscribe, because if you're plugged in, well, that probably means you're reading Law Murray, because he's helping you along the way, as he has here with me on Clippers Countdown. Law, thanks for doing this once again, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me, Adam.
Quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll get to your drive around the league as we get set for the Clippers in Oklahoma City, taking on the Thunder, and tip-off is just about 12 minutes away, right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Oklahoma City taking on the Thunder. Tip-off is just about 10 minutes away here on Clippers Countdown. Let's get your drive around the league, brought to you by Toyota. It's the Here and Now sales event at your Toyota dealer. The clock is ticking. Do not wait to grab a great deal on a new Toyota. We make it easy. Well, a couple of games that the Hornets are making it look easy against the Atlanta Hawks right now, where in the second quarter with 6 minutes left, they lead 66-42. LaMelo Ball has 18 and 8 assists, and they're not even at the halfway point. Hawks are down by 24. Second quarter action in Indiana. Some New York Knicks out in this one, and they're trailing the Pacers 37-42. Coming up later tonight, Bucks hosting the Raptors, Pelicans hosting the Rockets, and the Dallas Mavericks will welcome in the Detroit Pistons. Clippers taking on the OKC Thunder, and coming up next, we'll get back to Carlo Jimenez right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Oklahoma City taking on the Thunder. Tip-off is just about 5 minutes away here on Clippers Countdown. Coming up, it's Carlo Jimenez on the call, plus we'll get your keys to victory. But why don't we go back up to Carlo in OKC? Carlo, this Oklahoma City Thunder team, people talk about this team. They probably think it's the offense. Hey, they're top 5 there. But what they're doing defensively this season has been extraordinary.
Adam, just to put it into perspective, because it's hard to really like they're not just the number 1 team in the NBA defensive rating. The difference between Oklahoma City and Detroit, the second best defense in the NBA, is 7.8 points. So you're talking about there's 7.8 points difference between OKC's defense and Detroit's defense. The difference between Detroit and the 25th ranked defense, Brooklyn Nets, is less than 7.8 points. That is how good Oklahoma City's defense is, that the difference between Detroit and Team 25 is a smaller difference than the difference between 1 and 2 in the NBA. It is unbelievable. It is truly, Adam, maybe the best defense ever in the league.
Yeah, they're doing historic things over there. A historic net rating once again this season. It's even better at plus 16.4 per 100 possessions. All right, my player to watch in this one, I'm going to make sure it hits this time. I'm going with the Vitsa Zubats myself here, Carlo. Who's your player to watch for the Clippers?
Man, I Big Zoo's a great pick. I'm not going to double down on you today, though, because I know, I want to break any rules. I'm a rule follower. I'm going Bogey. I'm going Bogey. Bogey's getting the start, first start since October 28th. I feel like if the Clippers are going to have a chance today, he's got to have a big-time game. This is a guy who has scored 40 in the NBA, so I'm going to need big Bogey to give me big-time buckets. And, hey, we're going the guys who speak Croatian on the floor together, so we're a little intertwined between our players to watch.
There we go. Carlo Jimenez, he'll at least be bilingual for you on the broadcast coming up as tip-off is just 5 minutes away. Once in a while, you break out the Spanish.
Yeah,
it's the true. Clippers that's in true. Oklahoma City. Coming up next, your keys to victory right here on Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers tipping off in Oklahoma City, just moments away. Let's get you your keys to victory. The Clippers have to be willing shooters in this ball game, not just passers out there. They have to take the first good shot they get in an offensive possession because you're likely not going to get a better one against this Oklahoma City historically great defense tonight against the Thunder. All right, here we go. It's Carlo Jimenez on the call. Clippers and Thunder from Paycom Center in OKC, and tip-off is coming up next right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network.